Hello, everyone. Welcome again. Welcome to PM Tech Radio Hour. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining. Excited about the holidays approaching here. I hope you all have your presents all picked out for your loved ones. You got that everything all wrapped up and ready to go. I know, for myself, it's a little bit, I'm actually probably doing better this year than previous years, but yeah, still quite a bit to do. Um, Luckily, it's a good time of year for us, typically in the piano industry. Sent to a third party. Okay, got it. Um, yeah, typically it's a great time of year for us piano technicians. We'll get some extra business and a little extra cash. So hopefully that's all happening for all you guys. Today's going to be a bit of a preview of our next master class. We've kind of been making a habit of this when we get some footage from our next master class, try to share a little bit of it with the community before the exclusive version is in the member area or in the live lecture. But if what you see today is interesting to you and you want to learn some more about pedals, back action, trap work, and dampers, we are finishing off a four-part series that we've done with Joe Jackson. And in that series, we covered all of those things I just mentioned in some nice detail. And that's not something that you typically are able to run across that often, especially in a recorded form where you can review it and see the in-depth details, as well as if you can join us for the live lectures, it's an opportunity to actually ask questions on the spot to someone who does this kind of stuff all the time. So we're going to be diving into that a little bit today. And what I'm going to do is share a couple of things. So what we do when we record this stuff, we try to record from multiple angles. And then ultimately what happens is we mix it down and edit it, polish it up a little bit. So what I've been doing in these sessions previously is I will share with you kind of like the unpolished version, right? So you still get to see a little bit, you get exposure to the content, you can see kind of the direction we're going and see if it interests you. But it still reserves the best quality, most expansive knowledge for the folks that are paying clients of the master classes and those folks that really want to dive a little bit deeper. So something in it for everyone. What I will do here is I want to make sure that you guys get some links as we get started here to things like how to subscribe to the master classes or the radio hour, or jump into this next master class with Joe Jackson. So I'm gonna make sure I pull those links up and see if I have those. Let me see if I can get those ready. Okay, so we have next masterclass is Joe Jackson. So let me pop that link here. I'm going to pop that link first of all, because it's kind of the main topic of the session. I will pop that link into the chat here in Zoom. I'm doing that right now. And then I'll hop on over to YouTube and Facebook, and I'll make sure the folks out there are getting a look at that. Let me hop out and get to the chat that everybody can see. So if you're interested in joining the masterclass that we're going to go through today, just got to get my view properly. To join the masterclass, we will preview today. Please register. Okay, I'll put that link in there. And then while I'm putting links in, I might as well put the link if you're out on there on YouTube and Facebook and you're interested. We'll introduce what we're doing here in a moment. If you're out there on YouTube and Facebook and you want to jump in, use that link to jump into the live Zoom session now. And then I will be mentioning this. This program is called Piano Tech Radio Hour. And if you aren't a subscriber to Radio Hour, I think you'll appreciate it and we'll appreciate it. I'll explain why in a minute, but I'll put the link in how to subscribe to that later. and you know, you can take a look at that for yourself. Let's see here. I'll put this in the Zoom chat. I put it in Facebook. All right, great. All right, well, let's do the introduction so you know what we're doing here today. I'll say officially, welcome to Piano Tech Radio Hour. What we do is we gather here every Saturday to meet with and learn from the most fascinating and knowledgeable folks in the piano world. This includes manufacturers, rebuilders, musicians, makers of other instruments, and of course, piano techs. Our mutual goal is to become better at our craft, to help each other, and to create an ever more musical world together. Piano Tech Radio Hour is brought to you by Piano Technicians Masterclasses, an online learning resource that brings you cutting-edge instruction from piano industry masters without leaving your home. You can find out more at pianotechniciansmasterclass.com. Got a few other people jumping in here. I'll make sure they can get let in. You can also subscribe to Radio Hour for just $16 a month, get direct access to each week's private Zoom call, which we're having right now, as well as the archival recordings of over 180 episodes in our member area. What is that? That's over 3 years worth of content. It's a weekly show, so 52 episodes a year approximately. And now we have 180. That's over 3 years worth of content. Pretty cool. And you can join Piano Tech Radio Hour at bit.ly/join PTRH. Bit.ly is a way of creating short links. Bit.ly, bit.ly/join PTRH. Okay, now what I'm going to do right now, the game plan for what I'm going to share is I have as I mentioned, we sort of we have different angles that we want to film on the content that we're creating, so we can get the best possible look at whatever's going on. And what I have here is kind of two angles on the content, on some of the content from the masterclass that's coming up. And because it's not edited together, but I still kind of want you to get full appreciation for it, what I'm going to do is just try to create a clever edited version of it on the fly here. So what we're going to do is, this is Joe Jackson. He's doing some damper regulation and explaining what he's doing in detail. And we had two cameras. One of the cameras is kind of on the dampers from the top, right? But it's kind of hard to see what somebody's doing underneath in the action cavity, in the damper wires and stuff like that. So we had another camera on the damper wire. So what I'd like to do today, I think it's going to be, you know, again, it'll be a great fit for what we want to do. We want to share like just a little bit to wet your whistle. So we're going to share, first I'll share you, I think, the view of the dampers from above. And we could just watch that. It's about 10 minutes or so. Then we could check in for a minute. And I want you guys to be thinking this whole time, you know, about your own work with dampers, things you can share in the conversation, things, you know, you're hoping to learn about dampers, trap, back action, all that stuff as well, pedals. And also we may have some time at the end for just some general conversation about the holiday season, how business is going. We started Piano Tech Radio Hour specifically during COVID, and I'm guessing, you know, a lot of our businesses have kind of gotten back on their feet now. It's interesting to always get an update on how things are going at a time like this. So we'll show that above from the top of the dampers view, and then we'll go back and then look at the same content from underneath. And then a little tricky thing I'm going to do is I'll actually put them both side by side. We can't cut between each of them with the big view, but we'll put them side by side so you can actually watch both at the same time. Ultimately, in the final edit, we will have whatever's the main focus we want to have as the big screen. Maybe we'll have a picture-in-picture here and there every once in a while. But now, as a sort of make do for now, we'll have both views a little bit smaller, but so you can see both at the same time, so you can put it all together. So we'll dive in right now, and we'll go to the view from above the dampers. We'll watch through that, and then we'll check back in. So let me pull that up from where I wanted to start. See here. Perfect. Got that all set up. We'll make it full screen. Make sure. Let's see here. Was it at 136? All right, there we go. And let me do a screen share, and I'll share the image as well as the audio. And guys, let me know, as usual, if there's any audio issues on your end. You'll know I won't because you're the one receiving the signal and I'm the one sending it. I don't always know how it's coming across. All right, so we'll get over there to screen 2. Make sure we're sharing the sound, optimizing for the video, and here we go. Let's dive in.
We're going to climb inside of this, and we're going to take a look at these dampers, and we're going to fix these ones that are a problem. All right, you see this guy? You see it traveling left? Okay, it's coming down, heading left. Coming down, heading left. Okay, when we lift it up, we can clearly see that the V pattern of the dampers are not in line with the voids in the string. That needs to be corrected. So we take our pliers way down low, the base, and we're going to give it a nice squeeze, and we're going to turn the damper. All right, now let's give it a lift and see what it does. It's much better, but it has a little left, okay? A little bit more. There we go. When we go up slow and fast, when I go slow, look, I'm watching and I'm seeing that the felt is not getting kicked left or right. The felt is going exactly where it needs to be, and the head is not wiggling. Okay? See that? That's what you want to see. Now we're going to go over to this guy. Same problem. We're going to get down low, and we're going to give it a turn. Oh, look at that. This one had been wrong for a while, and the felt is actually damaged from that. A little bit more. Look at that. Beautiful. Just like that. Okay? Now we're going to go over to the base section. Do you want to grab the GoPro and move it over there? Sure. We've got one in the base. All right, here we go. Okay, this guy's going up. This V should be, when you go in the up position, this V should be mirroring this void, okay? So that V should be going into the void. And when it's above the void, it should be directly centered over the void, not to the left or the right of it. So we've got to correct that. Grab it by the base. Nope, now we're going the other direction. A little bit too far. There we go. There, now it's working just the way we want. Okay, hit this tray. Oh, we got another one veering. Okay, now, notice that. Watch, when you work the tray, watch these guys. You shouldn't see that. You see it move, it's moving in and away, in and away, in and away. Bad time, bad alignment. Same thing here, okay? Wow, we've got a number of them that are doing it. Look, here, here. These look like showgirls dancing. Da 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 da. You don't want that. You want, okay? So let's get into a few more of these. All right, there we go. This guy, oh, horrible. Now this piano just came in, and that means that this has been acting up in this person's home for years, and no one ever fixed it. Okay, just think, if you were their tuner, if you were the tuner of this piano, I would say, hey, what were you doing? You didn't fix this person's instrument, you let it do this the whole time? Come on. And then to yourself, you'd say, man, or woman, or whatever I call myself, they, whatever. You'd say, ah, man, I left money on the table. I could have fixed that and gotten paid big dollars. So be that person that fixes it. Be the person who makes the money. Be the person with a happy client. Be the person who can go to the university. Be the person who can work on the instrument of a concert pianist. Don't allow this stuff to be. Now look how quickly I can go through and fix this. It's not that hard. You just got to practice, and you have to join the radio hour and pay your subscription so you can get all this valuable information on a regular basis. Look at this, just boom, boom, boom. And this is years this has been out of whack. And you know this person's had problems with the piano because of this. Look at that, boom, boom. Now, one thing you will run into occasionally, like what might be going on with this one, is that if it's been bad for so long that the felt is damaged, you may have to change the felt top, because it could be that the felt has got damaged areas inside of it that won't let it work properly. That's a lot better, but that one I think we're gonna have to put a new piece of felt on. Okay. Oh, look at this guy. This is a different issue. It could be. Okay, this guy, as we lift it up, I can see a larger gap forming on the left than on the right. So this one's issue is that it's got a bend in it. Okay, so the head is not sitting straight. Yeah, we'll have to come back to that one, because it's actually rocking this way. Okay, let me get a damper. I'll be right back. So that damper is going like this. Okay, now that's because it's got a bend somewhere here that's making it travel out, or the head is not sitting flat. One trick with that, like I explained before, is you take the damper and you hold it up to something straight. You can even use the cabinet if you have a straight cabinet. Well, this one does not. Okay, so we've got a problem with the wire on that one where the head isn't sitting. So either the head is crooked up top like this, you know, so whether it's holding, can you see that, how it's closer to this side and farther on that side? Can you see that? Mm-hmm. Okay, now how do we fix that? Go back like that, and then we lift it up, and now look at that, parallel. Okay, now that going over this bend stuff, some of the other problems you can run into is you got to bend going the other direction. Look at that one. There you go. Look at that. Okay, now when you have a bend where the wire is traveling this direction or this direction, your damper head will do things like this. It'll go.
All right, I'm going to take a minute to switch the camera views here, because a lot of what he's doing is off camera. We might come back to this in a minute.
You have to bend the wire, either if it's going like this,
Okay, let's check out this other view.
Okay, we're going to climb inside of this and we're going to take a look at these dampers and we're going to fix these ones that are a problem. All right, you see this guy? You see it traveling left? Okay, it's coming down, heading left. Coming down, heading left. Okay, when we lift it up, we can clearly see that the V pattern of the dampers are not in line with the voids in the string. That needs to be corrected. So we take our pliers way down low, the base, and we're going to give it a nice squeeze, and we're going to turn the damper. All right, now let's give it a lift and see what it does. It's much better, but it has a little left, okay? A little bit more. There we go. When we go up slow and fast, I go slow. Look, I'm watching and I'm seeing that the felt is not getting kicked left or right. The felt is going exactly where it needs to be, and the head is not wiggling. Okay? See that? That's what you want to see. Now we're going to go over to this guy. Same problem. Get down low, and we're going to give it a turn. Oh, look at that. This one had been wrong for a while, and the felt is actually damaged from that. A little bit more. Look at that. Beautiful. Just like that. Okay? Now we're going to go over to the base section. If you want to grab the GoPro and move it over.
Sure.
We've got one in the base. All right, here we go.
Yeah. Let me make sure you got it. Yeah, I got it.
Okay, this guy's going up. This V should be, when you go in the up position, this V should be mirroring this void, okay? So that V should be going into the void. And when it's above the void, it should be directly centered over the void, not to the left or the right of it. So we've got to correct that. Grab it by the base. Nope, now we're going the other direction. A little bit too far. There we go. There, now it's working just the way we want it. Okay, hit this tray. Oh, we got another one veering. Okay, now, notice that. Watch, when you work the tray, watch these guys. You shouldn't see that. You see it move, it's moving in and away, in and away, in and away. Bad time, bad alignment. Same thing here, okay? Well, we've got a number of them that are doing it. Look, here, here. These look like showgirls dancing. You don't want that. You want. Okay, so let's get into a few more of these. All right, there we go. This guy. Oh, horrible. Now this piano just came in, and that means that this has been acting up in this person's home for years, and no one ever fixed it. Okay, just think. If you were their tuner, if you were the tuner of this piano, I would say, hey, what were you doing? You didn't fix this person's instrument. You let it do this the whole time? Come on. And then to yourself, you'd say, man, or woman, or whatever I call myself, they, whatever. You'd say, man, I left money on the table. I could have fixed that and gotten paid big dollars. So
Be that person that fixes it. Be the person who makes the money. Be the person with a happy client. Be the person who can go to the university. Be the person who can work on the instrument of a concert pianist. Don't allow this stuff to be. Now look how quickly I can go through and fix this. It's not that hard. You just got to practice, and you have to join the radio hour and pay your subscription so you can get all this valuable information on a regular basis. Look at this, just boom, boom, boom. And this is years this has been out of whack. And you know this person's had problems with the piano because of this. Look at that, boom, boom. Now, one thing you will run into occasionally, like what might be going on with this one, is that if it's been bad for so long that the felt is damaged, you may have to change the felt top, because it could be that the felt has got damaged areas inside of it that won't let it work properly. That's a lot better, but that one I think we could have put a piece of felt on. Okay. Oh, look at this guy. This is a different issue. It could be. Okay, this guy. As we lift it up, I can see a larger gap forming on the left than on the right. So this one's issue is that it's got a bend in it. Okay, so the head is not sitting straight. Yeah, we'll have to come back to that one, because it's actually rocking this way. Okay, let me get a damper. I'll be right back. So that damper is going like this. Okay, now that's because it's got a bend somewhere here that's making it travel out, or the head is not sitting flat. One trick with that, like I explained before, you take the damper and you hold it up to something straight. You can even use the cabinet if you have a straight cabinet. Well, this one does not. Okay, so we've got a problem with the wire on that one where the head isn't sitting. So either the head is crooked up top like this, you know, so with it's holding. Can you see that, how it's closer to this side and farther on that side? Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now how do we fix that? Like go back like that. And then we lift it up. Now look at that, parallel. Okay. Now that going over this bend stuff, some of the other problems you can run into is you got to bend, go in the other direction. Look at that one. There we go. Look at that. Okay. Now, when you have a bend where the wire is traveling this direction or this direction, your damper head would do things like this. It'll go, or go. Okay. And to correct that, you've got to get it out, and you have to bend the wire. Either if it's going like this, you got to bend the wire that way. It's going like this, got to bend it this way. Okay, but you got to get it to where this wire is a perfectly straight line this direction down. That stops it from lifting and dropping like a Clydesdale hoof.
Okay? You don't want a Clydesdale hoof. You don't want to gallop. You're not trying to get this thing across a finish line. You're trying to get this to stop making noise. So you want up, down. You want open, shut your face. Open, shut your face. Okay? That's what you're looking for. What you have going on is a crooked head or a bad bend down here. So what does that mean? Somewhere down in this, you got a bend somewhere like that, and it's causing the damper to go up. It's causing the damper to go up and over like that. How do you fix it? You got to correct that bend, find it, reverse it, and then you'll have up, down, the way you need it. Pause.
Yeah.
Ethan, is that making sense to you?
But there you go. I'll take a vote here on what you guys want to do next. We can take a look at the pieces side by side so you can get a look at everything that's going on from the top and from the bottom. We could potentially look to move on to something else. Some of the other footage I haven't prepared yet, so we could just dive in and see what's going on there. Or we can review this again. As a default, I think that's what I would do, is pull this up again. We won't watch the whole thing because at the end, he's pretty much only done on the one camera, and we basically already saw that. But for the remainder of the video, from the beginning till about 9 or 10 minutes in, what we can do is do a side by side, and then that way you can kind of see what's he doing underneath and how is it affecting things on top. If you guys want to vote, you can. If anybody says, so option one would be, let's go back to this footage. Let's see both angles at the same time, but it's a little bit smaller. And then the second option would be, let's move on to something else. If there's no votes, then I'm going to do option one. So take a chance and you can vote in the chat right now, option one or option two. I'll just give you a minute, maybe like now. If I don't get any votes, we'll just go back to option one. So I'm not getting much from the peanut gallery there. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think what I'll do is I'll leave this, the one that we just watched, as a bigger view if possible. And then the other one that I'm going to bring in, the other video, we will make that slightly smaller because I think it's maybe a little bit better done that way with that lineup. All right, give me 1 second here. Let me make sure I find them both. So this is this one. All right, let's minimize that. And we'll set them side by side. Yeah, let's give this a shot. See how it goes. Okay, so I got to set up the timing real quick. So this one's going to be at 4. And then this one's going to be at 1:36. Okay, here we go. I'll share the screen and you can watch them side by side. Yeah, I think we're good to go. 3, 5. Yeah. All right, cool. Here we go. Screen 2. You'll hear 2 audios for a minute. That's just while I sync up the audio.
Okay, we're going to climb inside of this, and we're going to take a look at these dampers, and we're going to fix these ones that are a problem. All right, you see this guy? You see it traveling?
Okay, bear with me for a second. Let me make sure this one's loaded properly. Take it a second to get going. I'll check the chat, see if you guys had a vote here. Okay, all right, I got your votes now. You want to move on anyway. All right, sounds good. All right, in the meantime then, here, let me stop the screen share. And let me just pull up something else here. We'll do a little experimentation on that. Bear with me for a second. I'll get the video set together from our raw footage, and we'll just pick something that seems to have some content there. All right. What could be interesting? Let me just do a quick preview on my end here. Yeah, let's check this one out. It looks pretty good. We'll just take a look at it. Yeah, definitely some new content for us. I think we got the concept on that previous one. Here we go. Full screen. Share that screen. And go.
I'm gonna put the pedal system back on. Now, you saw how nice and slick they are.
It is.
All right. Now, when you're underneath here, you want to observe.
Hang on one second.
Uh-huh.
Do you want me to do it?
You might not be able to see from that direction. You might be able to.
So you gotta come around?
No, you might be able to if you want to lay down. You want to observe.
Hang on.
Too dark?
Yeah, it's pretty dark. Want me to do this part? There we go.
Awesome. So you want to check to make sure these are in good repair, like we talked about in the first
You might have
class.
to start again.
So when you get underneath, you want to inspect your trap work like we talked about in the first episode. Make sure they're all in good repair, and if any lubricants or repairs are necessary, complete those at this time. This one is fine. Now, we're going to get this line back up. Get our bolts. Thank you. See? This one's course going to be kind of a pain. There we go. There we go. Notice I'm making sure that I am in the, before I go all the way in, I'm making sure that there we go. And I'm in the correct thread pattern. I go, if you notice, I went backwards with my finger first and then forward. Do the same thing with this side. We're just gonna find it. There we go. There and there. I went backwards and I felt, when you're going backwards, you're pushing against it. That way you feel it drop down into the slot, and that allows you to make sure that you are going into the original grooves. So when you get down, you have to use your finger to find the slot and work it. Okay? Now, after I've done a very good job of finding the thing, using my finger to find the slot and work it, I will use the ratchet, use the machine to finish it off. Use the machine, the hand to finish it off. Okay, good job. Now, finally, I'm going to put the support rods back in place. Same thing. I'm going to go backwards first with those screws until I find the slot. There we go. There we go. It's really important that you never double thread things. As a piano technician, it is your job, your sacred duty to not double thread things. Every technician knows the horror of having to go through and fix 30 double threaded screws on a Steinway tensioned rail.
Nobody should do that to another technician. Always make sure you are exactly in there so you don't damage it for future technicians. I like to treat piano repair work like the national parks. Leave no trace. When you're done, it should just be beautiful and perfect, and there should be no trace that you worked on it. If you're not doing that, then you need to refocus yourself and do that. Leave no trace. Jackson Pianos. See, if you do it properly, someone can take this off 30 times without ever worrying about the screws and the threads giving way. And we rent pianos, so that's really important when you're renting. Okay, we're back on. Let's get up top. I know. Talk about, you got to use that core. Ugh. Okay.
Let's see. The GoPro down there for that. What is it, the camera?
On that.
They just came out.
I was at a dinner with a guy. It was a little louder than I want. So, I'm going to first, we want to have the cheek blocks in, but I'm going to be pulling this bit. All right, I'll give you the clap.
And rolling.
Okay, here we go. We're going to run through the pedals and see how they work. Normally we want to have the cheek blocks in, but I'm going to be pulling this bit back and forth, so we're going to be okay on that right now. But I am going to make sure that we're located properly before we do anything. And we are. We're sitting where we're supposed to sit. Okay, I'm going to first utilize our shift pedal. Well, the pedal's really nice and smooth, but the shift pedal itself is a little louder than I want. So we're going to get inside of this and we're going to address what to do with the shift pedal. Slick coat time again, baby. All right. Now, there's friction points on a grand piano. It rubs up against this placing block here. The glide bolts touch on all of the blackened areas. It rubs against the very front, and it rubs against the tensioner spring that is in the far treble side. Most pianos have a tensioner spring on the far treble side. Some rare breeds are reverse springs, a reverse shift, and the spring will be on the bass side.
So even though we don't have the second view, I'll let this roll for a little bit. I think you get the idea. You know, he's going to be using a lubricant here to reduce noise on the shifting mechanism. I don't think I'll be able to find that other clip right now, but I think you get the idea. And of course, you can tune in if you want to see more details on that to the masterclass. We'll roll it from here for a little bit and see if there's some other good stuff to track.
It's very rare. You're not going to see it. Now, I'm going to first bring the action into my lap. And I'm going to lubricate the front rail. Now, I'm going to lubricate the block and each one of the glide bolts. Now, the spring. And then finally, the shift. Okay. Now we've got all that lubricated. I'm gonna go back in. Oh yeah. Even just putting it back in, I can feel it move a lot easier. I'm gonna use my legs to hold this in place. Slide in. Much quieter. Very good. Okay. Next, I'm going to check my Sostenuto. First thing I do is pedal to make sure that it's not hitting anything. Good, it's clear, nothing's moving. Next, I'm going to engage my sustain pedal, now my sostenuto pedal. Now I'm going to release the sustain pedal, and the sostenuto should keep all of the dampers up. Uh-oh, problems. Let's do that again. Uh-oh, problems. There were a number of them that dropped. We don't want that. Lastly, I'm going to check my sustain pedal to make sure that all of the dampers, we're just focusing on the center section mostly, that all of the dampers are lifting and setting evenly with no wiggle and no shake. Uh-oh, problem. Okay, we've got some work to do. All right, now that we've tested these things, we're going to pull this action out, and we're going to take a look inside of the piano, and we're going to correct these problems.
That might be it on this one. Let's look a little bit further.
Thank you. Well, we're going to have to look inside. Here we go. We're going to pull it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. We're going to pull it out. Now notice how easily it comes out now that everything's lubed the way it's supposed to be. If you have the bed lubed up just right, it comes out really easy. Okay. Let's take this guy out of our way. We're going to look inside. Okay. We're having problems with the sostenuto knife. This is the sostenuto knife. When we go up and down, it's not catching them all. See that? If you look over on the far side, when I press it up, go to catch it, they're dropping. They should all be sitting high and level, but they are not. Now, there's two different types of sostenuto. There's a push and there's a pull. We've talked about this before, and we'll just briefly go over that. This is a pull. When you hit the pedal, it pulls it down. On a push, when you push the pedal, it pushes it up. Like we showed, a Steinway is a push. This Kawai is a pull. Now, when we go and run our pedal system, it's not working. In addition, something's going on right here too. I have to look at that. All right, so let's make some adjustments to get that to work. For those adjustments, we're going to turn to one Matthew tool. Pause. All right, cool. I'm going to switch out with Matt. Let him get some stuff done. Hey, Matthew.
All right, good stuff. Hopefully you got a little bit more out of that. I think the sostenuto issues are something that I think you'll find very valuable within the masterclass. I know it's something that a lot of people struggle with. It's one of those pieces that's not as intuitive as some of the other things that we come across as piano technicians. Oh, you know, hey, I can fix this capstan adjustment or reglue this jack or, you know, get a little bit, tighten this screw on the action, things like that. And the sostenuto rail can be something that gives hours and hours of headache. And sometimes, I know personally, I've seen situations where I thought I could deal with a sostenuto issue, and maybe I'm making something worse, right? So if you're interested in learning more about that, I definitely recommend you take a look at the actual masterclass series, including this one. And just to review on what we're looking at in the series and how it went down. So there's 4 parts, and if you click on the link to that masterclass, which I added earlier. I'll add it again to the chat and Zoom for those of you that joined a little bit late. I know a few people were streaming in. What we did, and we're just about to finish up here on Thursday and have the last one. But what we did was we reviewed everything basically in the damper system. And it's an interesting system because I'm putting that link there in the Facebook and YouTube chat as well, because it's really not just the dampers, it's not just the pedals, like it's kind of a whole bunch of things mixed together that includes the dampers and it includes the pedals, but it also includes the trap work, and it also includes the sostenuto, which kind of is part of the damper system, but it's kind of its own separate system, and the shift. That's not really a damper thing. It's just a pedal thing, hammer alignment thing, all things going on there. So what we did in this masterclass series, in the first masterclass, Joe did an overview of all of the different things we were going to talk about. Here's a little bit about the pedals, the lyre, and that system. Okay, here's a little bit about the trap work, which kind of has its own issues to deal with. And actually, we learned there's quite a bit of variety in the trap work from multiple pianos, as well as the lyres. Can vary between different pianos, and knowing how to attach them can be complicated, especially if you have these kind of odd ones that have to fit in a certain angle. It can get annoying if you don't know what you're doing. And then into the back action. Again, there's multiple versions of what the back action looks like, and Joe kind of addressed that and talked about that. We looked at one or two specific types. And then, of course, the damper system itself. And so that first lecture was sort of an overview. Let's talk about this, and this. Let's just talk about what this whole system is and what we're going to talk about. And then in lecture 2, we dove into sort of the first two components of the system. We dove into the pedals and all the way up to the lyre and trap work. And so in that case, if you were to tune into that one, and by the way, if you click on the link to lecture 4, you'll be able to you'll see an overview of all the lectures, and you can click back to the other ones and check those out as well. But lecture 2, we got to see what is it like to maybe have to replace a pedal rod, right? Or how are you going to make things look nicer if you're going to kind of upgrade the trap work system? You're going to remove the parts underneath the piano. What if you want to do a little bit of lacquering? If you want to do a bit of polishing some screws, some lubricating, things like that to optimize the system. So pedals and trap work was lecture 2, a focus on that. And basically, we did a rough and tumble rebuild of like a pedal trap work, which was pretty cool to watch from end to end. And then lecture 3, which we just had last month, we dove into the back action. And, if you watch that one and you got into that one, you can pretty much walk away from it ready to kind of replace your first back action. If you wanted to start from scratch, order sort of the back action rail, and just get going with a whole new back action, you've got enough information to get yourself started. And then in this final one, and then we went into some of the damper issues, which you saw a little bit of an extension of today. And then in the final one, which is coming on Thursday, we just sort of said, okay, let's put this all together. Let's put the whole system together. What if, you're all finished with all these pieces and you just want to do some final touch up, some final optimization? Maybe this is a concert prep situation, or preparing a piano to be sold or something like that. Let's make sure it all works. Let's check through the whole thing and optimize it, and kind of review what we've talked about throughout the lecture series. So that's the one that's coming up, and you've seen a little bit of that. Kind of not just the review, but some nice details on some things that you might find useful. So that's the series, and that's the system. I'm not sure. I mean, we could cover a little bit more today, but we only have a few minutes left, so I'll probably sign off pretty soon. If anybody had any questions or comments about the series, or your own work with dampers, I'm curious if you guys are working a lot with dampers or a little. What kind of audience is here live on Zoom? What kind of audience is on YouTube and Facebook? Whether you've seen a lot of this stuff, whether it's intimidating or it's easy or whatever. And also, just curious how things are going for you guys out there in in piano land. I know I can share with us in New York City. Things are going pretty well. We just brought a new technician on the team. We're looking at bringing on another, which should put us to about 5 different technicians in New York City. And in terms of what we're doing with the business out there, and piano technicians, the strategy right now is just to try to expand a bit further, bring on these new technicians, increase the demand for what we're doing, and also try to become a bit more sort of organized. And when we're already a pretty organized system in terms of the team, we use software. We've got some good systems for getting technicians involved and getting their appointments and all this stuff. And at the same time, there's some other things that we could take to the next level, like getting contracts with institutions or music studios or schools and things like that. Anybody that's going to have more than one piano, how can we think about targeting those clients and making loyal customers out of them, giving them special deals and things like that? That's our strategy right now in New York. And I can update you on how it's going, how it will go, but we've done pretty well. We work with New York University in New York. We work with Borough Manhattan Community College as well, and those are some new contracts that we started on in the past few months. We're really excited about, and that's meaningful for the business. But yeah, that's a little bit on how we're doing. All right. If there's nothing else from you guys, I'll do a sign off, and we'll see you all again next week. Let me check on the date next week really quick. I know we're getting here to Christmas time. So next week's gonna be the 23rd. I believe we still will have a show there. I mean, in the least, it will be some kind of it may be some kind of other content than a live guest. I don't have the info right now, but we'll let you guys know. And we'll at least check in and say hi on the 23rd as well as 30th. I know we have a really interesting show planned for the 30th. We're going to have we've been having, if you didn't notice the pattern, we've been Hannah Ryman from the Stretto piano mechanisms, I'll call it, join us. And what she's going to do is bring on Dean Rayburn, who of Rayburn, Piano Works. He's done the Cybertuner. His son does the hammers, but they also have their make piano actions. And so these two got connected again, sort of mutually through Piano Tech Radio Hour, and she was excited to bring on Dean, and Dean's going to come on and share with us, what he's doing with piano actions and how he's kind of making alternately sized keyboards and things like that. So if I remember correctly, that's what we're doing on the 30th. So keep your calendar marked for that and tune in at that time. And we'll see you then. All right. So in the meantime, let's do our sign off officially and see you guys later. So we will say we have reached the end of another musical journey here at Piano Tech Radio Hour. Thanks to, of course, Joe Jackson for putting together this fine content in St. Louis, as well as we had some nice filmmakers on site helping us, as you saw there, behind the scenes footage. As always, we're brought to you by Piano Technicians Masterclasses, cutting edge instruction for piano industry masters without leaving your home. For those of you that joined us today by signing up for the session individually, you can make your life more convenient by subscribing to Piano Tech Radio Hour, just $16 a month. You'll get the recording of today's session in our member area, as well as automatic registration for each week's new session. You can sign up at bit.ly/joinptrh. That's bit.ly/joinptrh. And that's it for today, guys. Happy holidays and New Year, and we'll see you next time.